My name is Lydia Stahar and I'm a historian and ethnographer on Eastern Europe, Russia, and Eurasia. And today I want to talk about the way that the Russian Federation is divided. When we seek to understand a part of the world, one of the most important things is first understanding where it is. Geography is often overlooked, so I want to talk about each region of Russia and who exactly lives there. Imagine Russia, picture it in your head. What do you see? Can you see where it begins? Can you see where it ends? Do you understand what countries it borders and who may live in these far-reaching edges of the nation? Do you think it's all East Slavs? Is it just Moscow and St. Petersburg to you? Where is Siberia? What do you know? It's the largest country in the world, and so many people in the English-speaking world don't seem to really know enough about it. Russia is divided into 85 different federal subjects, 56 oblasts, 22 republics, 9 krais, 4 autonomous okrugs, 3 federal cities, and 1 autonomous oblast. The word oblast can be translated into something like province, and these provinces have a governor and a locally elected legislature, like the Chelyabinsk Oblast. One of my favorites as far as the iconography, they feature a lot of camels on all of their flags and emblems. This is because Chelyabinsk was a significant region for trade and along the Silk Road. Then we have the republics. They're nominally autonomous. They all have their own written constitution, their own elected heads of state, and often a second language next to Russian, primarily used by the ethnic group dominant in that region, as most of them serve locally one of the many 180 plus ethnic groups in the Russian Federation. They often have a republic-wide dominant religion. Many republics are Islamic, and there's even one that is a Buddhist republic, which is the Republic of Kalmykia. Kalmykia is also another region associated with camels. I'm picking a lot of camel-related places, but I find that when people think of Russia, they don't often think of a Buddhist region, and it's also known as the only significant Buddhist place in Europe, as it is on the European side of Russia. But yeah, did you know that certain regions of Russia have designated religions? It's pretty cool. Then we have the krais, which translate to territory. These are historical regions. Often in imperial times, these were the frontiers. For instance, you have the Kamchatka Cry in the very far east. This actually was a merger between two previous regions, like the Koryak Autonomous Okrug, which was named after the Koryak people. A lot of these regions are named after the indigenous people who have been there for hundreds, if not thousands of years. And the Kamchatka Cry is interesting because there are so many volcanoes there. And again, when you think of Russia, do you think of active volcanoes or inactive volcanoes? You just don't think about volcanoes in general. Then you have autonomous okrugs. Okrug roughly translate to, it's a loan word for like region, like the Nenets Autonomous Okrug, named after the Nenets indigenous people group that are the second largest ethnic minority in that region, next to ethnic Russians or East Slavs, and third to that would be the Komi people, another indigenous ethnic group in that part of the Russian Federation. Then you have the federal cities, of which there are 3. They are both inhabited localities and constituent federal subjects, like the federal city of St. Petersburg, which is the second largest city in the entire Russian Federation, and a very historical one. And lastly, we have an autonomous oblast, of which there is one, which is the JAO, the Jewish Autonomous Oblast, which I could do a whole video on. The JAO was originally created to appease the Jewish people of Russia and to give them confidence in the Bolshevik Party. It really has become a failed state as of today. It has less than 0.1% of a Jewish population and never really came to be what it was meant to be. It's also in Siberia, which is a large geographic region that encompasses many things, but it's just another factor that may have made it not as pleasing for people to want to be there. I believe it's really important to understand the way that different countries are divided and who lives there. It's just another reminder that nations aren't monoliths, and especially not Russia. It's not just East Slavs, it's not just Moscow and St. Petersburg, or European Russia and Asia Russia or Siberia, the way we view Russia as a nation is often wrong and shaped by propaganda and a lack of understanding of the geography of the world in general, as much of the English-speaking world isn't required to learn geography, unfortunately. And whether we want to talk about history or ethnography, understanding the geographic makeup of where these things were written and happened in is really important. Even if you're talking about communist theory or World War II, you really need to understand who was involved, where that was involved in, and the culture surrounding all of these places. It gives you a really well-rounded understanding of not only current events and history, but culture and people. And the people are really what's important here. And the division of Russia directly reflects its history and people, be it designated regions of prominent ethnic groups or religions, or just the history that created the divide there. These are things that we should really understand before we talk about other aspects of Russia as a nation. And if anything I've mentioned here, if it's new to you, I don't think you should feel so bad. It's often just not talked about. We often hear the most hateful propaganda and dehumanizing aspects in every single negative decision an entire country's history of government has made, instead of hearing about the people and geography, which is way more important. So I hope I can inspire you to learn a little bit more about Russia and Eastern Europe and Central Asia. So I'm going to be continuing with a series going one by one through all federal subjects of the Russian Federation, so you can understand where it is and who lives there. And hopefully it can humanize this country for you. I want you to think about, after learning the way that Russia is divided, about other nations you might be misunderstanding, where their divisions are, where their ethnic groups lie. Because very rarely is a nation a monolith, and if you can understand how diverse and divided Russia is internally, and the different kinds of ethnic groups that reside within it, and the history that made it that way, you'll understand that truly every country in the world has very similar divisions, and it'll give you a broader understanding when thinking about the complexity and the ethnography regarding any nation. Let me know what region you want me to start with within Russia down below in the comments. I'm thinking about going alphabetically or maybe by the region code. I'm not entirely sure yet. Where do you think I should start? Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you're not already. I promise you, I'm not a Russian bot. I don't work for the government. I cannot guarantee if you will or will not end up on a list because of me though. Anyways, yeah, please follow me. Thanks, bye.